Hello, scholars. It's me, Miss Jackson, and I am here with your first virtual lesson. If you are new to this channel or to my teaching, I just wanted to go over a few things that I do that may be new to you, may not be new to you. However, I just wanted to let you know. So typically in my class, I'll use a lot of call and response, meaning I'm going to speak first and then you are going to respond, whether that means you're answering my question or you are repeating after me. With my chants, I typically do a sing-song voice so that you know when it's time to respond or repeat after me. It keeps my scholars engaged. It keeps them focused on what I'm saying so that when it's time for them to repeat what I said, they know exactly what I said. So that will look something like this. So this is Winnie. Winnie is going to pretend to be my scholar today. So I can say something like, this is a digraph. This is a digraph. So when I pointed to Winnie, Winnie said exactly what I said in his or her own tone. Okay, so that's what that will look like. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel for the remainder of this break. And like as many videos as possible from all of your teachers. This is going to be really exciting. I will suggest, if you aren't already in a quieter space in the house, try to get there. I want you to be excited. I want you to call out. I want you to chant, not call out. You know, that's a check in the classroom. But call out when it's appropriate and respond when it's appropriate. If you're unable to get to a quiet space, just respond and repeat in your brain. Okay? So we're about to get started. Objective, objective. I will read a personal narrative and fill out a story map. Digraphs, wait for the snap. So typically in my classroom, I give my scholars think time. So that gives them time to come up with the proper answer and allow them to just focus on the question. And when you hear the snap, that means you can answer the question. Everybody who has an answer will then respond. Being that we just started a new unit though, these are new digraphs. So I'm just gonna tell you what the digraphs are, and then when we're done, I'll go over it and then I'll give you time to say the digraph independently, okay? So this is one of our new digraphs. We have the letter C and the letter E working together. When they're working as a team, we know it's a digraph because it's more than one letter, but it only makes one sound. So this digraph makes this sound. Listen. It makes what sound? Good. C-E together makes the sound S. This is another new digraph. We have the letter K and the letter N. They are working together as a team, which makes them a digraph. It's more than one letter, but it's only one sound. When you see the letter K and the letter N together, you're going to say this sound. What sound are you going to say? Good job, scholars. So we only have two new digraphs for this entire unit, so this is going to be pretty easy. So now you're going to have time to think. So right now you're thinking of the sound that this digraph makes. When you hear the snap, tell me what sound it makes. Good job, scholars. If you said S, give yourself a whoop, whoop. Next digraph, thinking. When you hear the snap, make sure you say the sound. Good job, scholars. So K-N works together. It makes the N sound. It makes the, if you got that right, say, I'm so intelligent. Tricky words. Don't get tricked. Wait for the snap. Again, this is a new digraph. This is a new unit. So we have another new tricky word. And for this unit, we only have one tricky word, whereas we had 6 in the last one and 5 and 10. This is only one, so this should be pretty easy. This is similar to one of our most recent tricky words. We know it's tricky because it doesn't follow the rules, It's not tricky because you don't know it. It's tricky because it doesn't follow the rules. This O and this W is working together and it's making the ow sound. So we put ow together and it makes what word? Ow. Cow. This is the word. Good job, scholars. So I'm going to give you some wait time because I'm going to put the tricky word back up. When you hit the snap, make sure you tell me what tricky word it is, okay? Cow. Good job, scholars. All right. So inside of your packets, you don't have any spelling words in there because we won't have spelling tests until we return. However, I would still like for us to go over some of our spelling words because I know you guys like spelling words and I know you like to be challenged. So I'm going to continue to challenge you, okay? SWIMMING. That spells swimming. That spells ROTTEN. That spells rotten. That spells. If you notice, we have a double letter consonant in the center, so we know when we have two of the same letters, it makes that sound one time only. Rotten. BATTER. That spells batter. That spells another double letter consonant in the middle. And then we have our digraph ER at the end. HIDDEN. That spells hidden. That spells SHREDDED. That spells shredded. That spells. And this spelling word has a lot going on. We have our SH digraph, we have our ED digraph, and we have a double letter consonant in the center. Don't get tricked, scholars. NODDED. That spells nodded. That spells double letter consonant in the center, ED digraph at the end. POPPING. That spells popping. That spells double letter consonant in the center, NG digraph at the end. Don't get tricked, scholars. And then our tricky word for this spelling test or spelling list is there is. It's tricky because of that I, E, and that I, okay? THEIR. That spells there. Good job, scholars. And now we will be warming up. You know what the expectation is. We're getting ready for the next part of our lesson. So we have a new spelling sound. So this is the sound. This is the sound. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different ways we can spell that sound. We're going to focus on the first 4, okay? The letter S by itself, the double S, the C, and the CE, okay? Typically, when you see the letter S, it makes what sound? S. Good. Double S makes what sound? S. Good. The letter C, sometimes it says K. However, when it's next to a wimpy vowel, like E and I, it makes the sound S. So don't get tricked, scholars. And then when we have CE together, that digraph, it makes what sound? S. Good job, scholars. So if you were in my class right now, we would have an anchor chart, and then I'm going to have some words We're going to say these words out loud, and then you would have to put it in the proper column. So we'll have 4 different columns: the S by itself, the double S, the C by itself, or the CE digraph, okay? Repeat after me. Song. Sun. Sit. Snake. Dress. Kiss. Pencil. Scent. Sell. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Who's going to help me out? So typically in the classroom, I will have scholars who would raise a super silent hand, and then they're going to tape these words onto an anchor chart. So we can't do that virtually. So I want you to think about which word goes under which column. Remember, our columns are the S by itself, the double S, the C by itself, or the CE column. Okay, first word, song. Which column would this word go under? It will go to the single S column. If you thought that, give yourself a Grow Our Team point. Next word, sun. Which letter column does it belong to? Correct. Single S column. If you thought that, give yourself a point. Sit. Which column does it belong to? If you thought that, give yourself a check. Not a check, a point. Kiss. That's tricky. Which column will it go into? If you thought the double S column, give yourself a point. Dress. If you thought that, give yourself a point. Pencil. Getting trickier. That's how I know you're almost ready for 2nd grade. If you thought the single C, give yourself a point. Snake. If you thought that, give yourself a point. Scent. Ooh, this one is tricky. Notice Ms. Jackson only underlined the letter C by itself. Because yes, it's next to that E, but that E makes its own sound. S-N. S-E-N-T. Scent. Okay? When the C and the E is working together, typically it works together at the end of a word. So this C here is working by itself. I'll give you that one. Okay? So it should go into the single C column. Sell. Again, that should go into the single C column. Count up your points. If you got more than 8 points, give yourselves a round of applause. All right, scholars, so now we're going to move on. The objective was we are going to read a personal narrative, and we are also going to create or draft our own personal narrative. So in your packet, it says Monday, March 16th at the top. It has the numbers 1.1 at the top, okay? So if you have it, go ahead and turn to that page, and then I'll read it aloud, or you can read it by yourself. You can mute me and read it by yourself, or I'll read it to you, okay? Make sure you're tracking along with your tracking finger. Starting with the title. In the cave. When I went to visit with Nan, I was sad. I missed Mom and Dad, but Nan cheered me up and made things fun. Nan took me on hikes. The land I saw in the West was not at all like the land I am used to. Where I am from, things are green in the summer and there are lots of trees. In the West, there are hills and red rocks, but not a lot of trees. In some spots, you can hike for a mile and not see one tree. Once, Nan and I were on a hike when it started to storm. Nan and I went into a cave so that we would not get wet. As we were standing there, I saw something shimmer in the dark. Nan, I said, pointing at the spot, "What's that?" "Well," said Nan, "let's have a look." We looked and saw something stuck in a crack in the rock. I grabbed it. "It's a coin," I said. "Well, I'll be," said Nan. I said, "What sort of coin is it?" Nan said, "I can't tell. It looks like it could be made of silver." Then she said, "I have a pal, Jack, who is an expert on coins. We can bring it to him tomorrow, and he will tell us what sort of coin it is." I dropped the coin in my pocket, and we went on with our hike. So that was a personal narrative. We know the narrator is Kate, and she's talking a lot about her grandmother, who she calls Nan. Okay, so now a personal narrative is similar to a fictional story, but it's not made up. Okay, it has a title, it has a setting, it has characters, and it has a plot, which means there's a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end. So a good story answer the 5 questions, the 5 W questions. So typically you will have the who, which means it's asking about the characters in the story. You'll have the what. This question asks about the plot of the story. So that's the beginning, that's the middle, and that's the end. You'll have the where. This question asks about where the story takes place, which part of the setting. And then when. This question asks about the time of the story, which is also part of the setting. Early morning, whether it's the winter, whether it was last year. And then you'll have the why. This question gives the reason for the character's actions. Like, why did the main character do whatever it was that they did? Not all stories, though, answer that why question. So you must be careful, okay? Now, also inside of your packet, if you turn the page, you should have seen 1.2. And there's a story map. We're going to fill out this story map. You are going to fill out this story map, not me. So you're going to go through, fill in the boxes, making sure that we have the title of our tale or our personal narrative, making sure you have the characters, you know who our narrator was, making sure you have the setting, so the where and the when, and then this entire section is the plot. So making sure you talk about what happened at the beginning of the story, what happened in the middle, and then what happened at the end. And once you're done with that, you will be done with Monday's portion of our packet. However, in our class, we would have gone to our wiggle time or read out loud. And typically that's phrases or sentences with our new spelling, okay? So this phrase, giving you some wait time so you can think about what it says. It says 1 cent. Remember that C at the beginning says S. The cell is ringing. My face is red. Remember that CE at the end also says S. This rice is good. It's kind to be nice. Remember that CE at the end also says S. And then this is how you know we are done with our lesson. We have this big star. This means we're sitting like first grade U Prep scholars, getting ready for second grade. And it's time for us to get into centers or do our wiggle break. We can't do that right now, but I challenge you to do 20 jumping jacks. I'll see you all tomorrow. Make sure you like and subscribe to this channel for future videos. I miss you. I'll see you. Text me if you need me. Have a good day.